What was funny is that I'm on the floor. I grabbed the phone, called for help, and then once I knew the help was coming, why panic? Why get worried? So while I'm on the floor, I was like, well, you know what? This is a great time to photo shoot this really fast, record a video. I'm like, yo, mi gente, this is your boy to the T. Look at me. I'm laying down.
The MS Positive podcast is a platform where people living with multiple sclerosis come to share everything else they do with their lives aside from being an MS patient. Among our guests are artists, singers, bloggers, actors, authors, DJs, and much more. And yeah, also health professionals because we have to stay in the know. We're more than MS. I'd like to welcome Armando Trinidad to the MS Positive podcast. He's a successful YouTuber and author of his autobiography, Resilience, published on September of this year, 2023, and also a good friend. Armando was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in October 2014 after a series of episodes led to his diagnosis. Welcome to the show, my friend. I'm happy to have you. How are you?
Ooh, thank you. Thank you, Maite. Thank you to the world that's listening. I appreciate your invite. This is amazing. But yeah, like you said, I'm Armando Trinidad. I'm from Chicago, but I live in Hoffman. And yeah, I'm a YouTube influencer, and I'm ready. This is amazing for the invite.
Good.
I love it.
We're happy to have you here because you have an amazing, crazy MS journey story.
Ooh,
Well, there's a lot
yes.
to talk about. You have been a trooper all throughout these years with everything that has happened to you. So, in a nutshell, let's summarize your diagnosis story. How were you diagnosed?
Well, it started when I was working I used to work at a baby retail store, and I was working in the receiving department. That's when I started feeling some knuckling in my beak, my knees. My knees started like buckling back in pain. Whatever, not a long story. I checked it out, and it was a torn meniscus that I had. So I went through workman's comp. I had the torn meniscus repaired, and they told me it would last about a week, week and a half the most, that I'll be on crutches, and until the swelling went down. But anyways, that swelling didn't go down as fast, and I was still limping and still had unbalancedness. And anyways, due to that, well, I couldn't perform my job, so I got laid off. I was on workman's comp for quite a while until it lasted, and then but I still didn't know nothing. I was still limping. Then to this was 2013, 2014. Found out through a neurologist actually. She went up and she told me, because I didn't have no insurance, so I didn't get no MRIs. I couldn't find out what was wrong with my knee. And she was the one that told me, if you go through any hospital through emergency, they got to take care of you. I said, what? I said, okay, what hospital you work at? Okay, that's where I'm going. And that's exactly said and done. I went to her hospital on Northwestern, and they went and then they ran the MRIs, and they found out they did the spinal tap and the whole thing. And they found the lesions on the spinal cord in the brain. And right there, they diagnosed me with PPMS to start off.
So, from the get go, right out of the gate, you were diagnosed with primary progressive multiple sclerosis, which people are really scared of when they hear that because it's the last stage of MS. But you're doing pretty well. I mean,
I know what was crazy about this, I didn't, once again, I didn't know nothing about MS. When they told me I had multiple sclerosis, the first thing literally came out, I was like, what? How do you spell that? Because I didn't even know what that meant, you know? And then when they told me that the PPMS, they said they only a 15% chance of people that have MS get PPMS from the beginning. And I was like, okay, let's go then, I guess. You know, I mean, this is life.
yeah. Were you like, did you freak out? Did you get scared, or did you just switch it right there and you just said, you know what, let's move on?
At the beginning, I ain't gonna lie, at the hospital bed, I got a little overwhelmed because like anything else. And, they tell you you got a high fever, and some people ball out. But I got overwhelmed with that. Why? Because I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't know the disease. All I know was like, man, something clarifies something's wrong with my knee. But I let that last, like I always say, a good 5-10 minutes. And I soaked it all in, and right then and then, as crazy as it is, I told my wife at the time, because I was married. I told her, like, this is gonna be a blessing from the Lord above, because through this they're gonna see me walk again. So I took it as a blessing.
Like the
As
pro that
crazy
you
as
are,
it
like
sounds.
the pro that you are.
As crazy as it sounds, and it is hard to accept, but I took it as a blessing from the Lord because I know that the Lord works in mysterious ways, and people don't see Him, so they don't believe in Him. People can see me, so they believe the miracles when they happen.
Is either you have to choose, like, quick. What are you gonna do with this? This is what you got. Are you gonna go with it, or are you gonna just cry in the corner, like I say, and just complain all day long? It's a quick
Exactly.
decision, but it's not an easy decision, right? To how to change your mindset and continue trying to make the best of life with what you have, which it's 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 less, it's limited.
And then you get overwhelmed with all the other
The
stuff
other
once I
stuff,
started digging into
yes,
it. Oh
exactly.
man.
So fast forward, you also had issues with seizures and burns, and at that point, and correct me if I'm wrong, you were already diagnosed with MS, correct? You already knew, but then you got this other thing on. Tell me about it.
Oh man, well here we go. It's just the
This is where it
stories that
starts. People, pay
yeah, this is a
attention.
little piece that it kept building up, and it's like whoa. But okay, so 2013 I got the torn meniscus repaired. 2014 got diagnosed with MS. I'm taking regular medications as tree. I was started off with the Rebif, and then I started taking Amperos pills. Supposedly they were to help out with the bandedness and whatnot. Anyways, 2017 came January 2nd, starting the year 2017. I suffered a grand mal seizure. And this was no regular grand mal seizure. I looked it up and online it says grand mal lasts you about a little bit more than the normal, but a little bit about the normal is 2 to 3 minutes. Mine lasted a whole 45 minutes.
How are you alive?
45. Hello, thank you,
Are
Lord.
you
That's
a vampire or a
I'm a prophet, baby. I'm supposed to. I'm telling you, this was crazy. It was 45 minutes. Obviously, I don't remember nothing that happened that day. At that time of being, my wife at the time, she said that when I fell, I was convulsing from the moment I fell to on the ground till the ambulance came, picked me up on the way to the hospital. At the hospital bed, I was still, I mean, the table over there where I had, I was still convulsing and shaking. They told my parents and my wife at the time that only two things come out of that. There's certain two things that come out of a seizure that long, and is unfortunately brain damage or death. Well, yeah, I bypassed both of those, mi gente. But that was crazy because that right there wiped out every little strength I had. Every little strength, because before I was pretty, I had my upper body was pretty okay. Remember, I just had problems with walking. So right there, I was in acute rehab for a month. I had to learn again how to talk little by little. I had speech therapy, I had occupational therapy, physical therapy, all the type of therapies. Yo, mi gente, what it do, baby? It's your boy back at it. Beginning out walking it today. Last couple times wasn't that good. But today, my steps are working. Like I said, we take advantage and we do what we can when we can. Step.
you mentioned the consequences of that type of seizure. Imagine what your loved ones were thinking, what they were going through. But when you woke up, when you were finally back to yourself, was everything normal for you? Could you like recognize people? Your memory was fine. Could you speak, or did you struggle and slowly got improved? How does that work when you have a seizure?
The first thing, yeah, it's crazy. The first thing I realized and was amazing. I woke up and the first thing I saw was my wife's, my cousin's wife, and she was standing right in front of me. And the first thing that came to my mind is like, where am I, and why the hell is she here? Like, why is everybody here? Because I was nowhere near her. Like she
The
was
last thing
nowhere
you
around me.
remember, she was not right in front of you.
Yeah, no. Last thing I remember, I was leaving my apartment,
Right.
and that's why I was like, why am I
So you
here?
had a good
And why?
recollection of what happened before and what's happening, what's happening now.
Yeah,
So nothing got
that stuff I had.
affected up here.
Nothing got affected with that. It was just that time, obviously. That's amazing because I was, like I said, I knew everywhere where I'm at. And right there, I was able to recognize, right away who she was and, who was around me. And I was just like, what happened? What is this? And that's when they told me that, what happened and whatnot. I was like, what? So that was, yeah, that was 2017. So the whole month rehab, I had to recoup and learn how to do the little bitty things and how to eat. And pero, luckily things got improved. Things got better and I started improving. I kept on going. Then 2018 came. for the month of October 2010. I tell you, the month of October is my month, my birthday month, and that's when the most craziest things happen to me, you know? And 2018, the beginning of October, I went and I was at a friend's house down in Harvey, Illinois. And we went over there. And since I have my medical cannabis card because of my MS, woo, shout out to the doctors for that. Thank you, Lord. So I went to the bed to smoke me a joint because I was feeling the symptoms and the weak in the knees, and that calms me down. And since I had a long ride back home, I don't smoke in the car. I finished and I threw the tip, and I guess when I threw it, the tip must have remained on or something. I don't know. When things gonna happen, they happen. When I threw it, it hit something on the floor, and it's something flammable or something. It was nighttime. I couldn't see. It was on the floor. All I know is that it lit up. When it lit up, it lit a trail of fire directly to where I was standing. I'm telling you straight like out of a movie. And the point that I couldn't even believe it when I saw it, I was like, "What is this? What? What? Whoa, whoa, whoa!" Yeah, I'm doing
And
all
your
this while it's
mobility
coming,
is compromised at that.
and I'm on
You're in
crutches. I'm on
crutches, so
crutches.
it's not like you can get
I
up,
can't move as fast.
jump in,
Exactly.
and
I
run.
can't move
And
as fast. Well, I'm trying to move, but once again, my crutches, they were like stuck. I couldn't move. I was like this. All I know is they came up, and when I felt the flames reaching up to my chin, that's when I started waving it out. And that's what you see right here in my hands. These 3 fingers are fingers that they burned off a little bit on top because I started waving them off, and then boom, that's when my brother-in-law came, and he tackled me on the floor with his jacket that he had, and he turned off the fire that was left off. The fire blew my pants off completely. So I'm over here laying on the floor. The owner of the house where we was at, he came out and he brought out some joggers that he had of himself, and they put them on. So like mi gente, I'm butt naked in the road with no shoes, no nothing. They put on the joggers, whatnot. They carry me and they put me into my wife's car. The crazy thing about this, mi gente, the first thing I told my wife at that time was, "Take me, just go home. Take me home. I want to go home." Because the only thing I felt, to be honest, because it's third degree burn, so you don't feel it's right above the layer of the nerves, so you don't have no feelings. So the only thing I felt was the burns on my hands, and the blisters started growing. So that's when I saw the blisters super big. I was like, "Yo, I'll go home, put my hand in a bucket of in a thing of ice. I'm good." When it started getting bigger and bigger, the blisters, I was like, "No, I gotta go to the hospital." They took me to the hospital, and then pa colmo, to top it off, they took me to the hospital. I was in Harvey. They don't treat burn patients there. So I had to wait about a good, and then they called Rush and Chicago University of Chicago Med, and they had no space for burn for new patients. So I had to wait about 45 to 50 minutes to get an approval from a hospital. But then they didn't fly me over there or nothing. They drove me down there. By the time I got to the University of Chicago, man, all my vitals, organs, everything was going down.
I can't imagine. I mean, you just
Ev-
had third
Everything
degree
was shutting down.
burns.
Third degree burns. I'm so exposed. I'm just out there. The first surgery of plenty they had to do was a removal of all the dead skins. And they did all that. And then, mi gente, I had 7 surgeries.
How long did you
Seven
stay in the
surgeries,
hospital after that?
4 months. 4
4 months?
months. I was 2 months at the University of Chicago Med where they did the surgeries and the healing, and part of the healing, and then I did 2 months at the Shirley Ryan Ability Lab down in downtown Chicago. Yeah, they transferred me there, and then that's when they did the mostly of the healing. That's when they put on the Eucerin cream and the
And
whole nine
skin
yards.
graft, right? You have
Ooh, man, I got skin grafts all in like my stomach, my back, my buttocks, my thighs, skin grafts everywhere. I got cadaver skin on my leg. Mi gente, I'm a dead man walking. I'm telling you, this is crazy.
Frankenstein, Frankenstein.
Yeah, you lying.
Oh my
But,
god.
but it's amazing how crazy the technology is now. That all of that was able to perform. And mi gente, to be honest, I mean, you look at my legs, you tell something happened, the burns, but they're so well treated. And the healing cream and everything else that, once again, man, these are blessings that it could have been a lot worse. And that's what I
For
always
sure.
think about, man.
I mean, I admire you for even saying that. It could have been a lot worse because
It could have been
that's
a
a
lot
hell of a
worse.
story. I mean, I don't know because I've always seen the positive side of you, but I'm sure that at the moment, a lot of things were, a lot of different thoughts were running through your mind. Not only the positive one, but also the negatives. That's a dark place to be at some point, and it's hard to keep your center. Like it is, or it's easy to lose your center. Is what I mean to say. So I really admire the way that you have navigated all this because it's a lot. I mean, we can't deny it. This is a hell of a story. This is a lot to take in.
But what's amazing about this, man, and that's why I truly recommend for everybody out there, get the resilience out of, like, I'm sorry because of the light. This is a book, but this is the reason why I wrote this, because not only that I went through that, and at the age of 17, I was addicted to drugs. I was a heroin addict, and I consumed all types of drugs. But that was one of the first things I asked the doctor when I got diagnosed. I was like, can this be because of the drug consumption I did in my
I
life?
figure you had that
Because
question. It's
remember,
a fair question to
yeah,
ask.
because remember, that was the first thing that
Yeah.
came out. I was like,
Did I
was
do this
this
to
because of,
myself?
yeah, exactly. Because if I did, well, then there you go, Mondo. Good job. I went through that, and then the way I got out of that situation, that's what made me be like, I can get through whatever situation.
It actually gave you
Because that
strength,
was,
right?
yeah, it gave me a strength that I didn't even know I had within me.
Exactly.
So with that, that's when I really was like, okay, that's fine. Then I had when I deal with the sickness, I was like, well, whatever, I'll do this. Not knowing what's to come. Remember, I don't know it, man. Not knowing what everything else that was gonna come around this and with this. But I wasn't afraid.
Well, regardless of that, right? Of everything that happened and what you're living with right now, you have a very active social life. Like you're always partying. Like it's good to be your friend. You're always in concerts. You have a very active social life. I see you online posting, and I get jealous. I admit. Just playing.
No, that
Because you are always out and about. You're
uh,
always somewhere in a venue. You're always having fun, whether you are at a concert or you are at a house party or you are, hanging out with your celebrating somebody's birthday. There's a lot that you do. So that's, it shows the spark.
and that's the reason why I do it, man. And I love it because regardless, I got this disease that is ongoing forever disease, whatever it is. That never stopped me from being who I am. Yeah, I mean, I'm a person that I get a haircut every 2 weeks. Rather if I'm going out or nothing, I don't do nothing. I don't drive nowhere. Whenever there's a party, let's go. But I'm consistently doing that. Why? Because that's just consistently reminding Mando, you're living Mando's life. You're doing what
Life
you're
is
doing.
today,
You're
right?
doing,
Like that's my
yeah, that's
favorite
right. I
saying.
live life
Life is
to you
today.
don't know what happens tomorrow, and yesterday's gone.
That's
You can't do nothing.
a lesson we learn when we live with a chronic disease that has no cure, that's progressive. You learn to live life today. Yes or no? Would you agree with me?
Oh
It's
yeah, you
something that
know it.
you just have to live life to the fullest, enjoy every day, and try to make the best out of it.
I personally don't got a 9 to 5 gig, but us with that mess, we have a 24/7 job. Because us with autoimmune disease, this is a 24-hour thing that we got to do every single day, 7 days a week. And it's just some days we have a good day, some days we have a bad day, some days we have an amazing. But it's like anybody else. Even the regular healthy person that got all 4 limbs working properly, they all go through the things and they have good and bad days as well. So that makes us no different from the rest.
You were featured in People's Magazine. How did that come about? How did you end up there?
Mi gente, God works in mysterious ways. I didn't even know where it came. I wanted to get my story out. One thing that's for sure. I was urgently looking to get my story out. Pero I didn't know it was gonna go out in that way. They featured me in the December edition of the winter edition of the 2020 magazine. And then what was amazing was that on the front cover of that magazine was Gilberto Santa Rosa, which is that he's a Puerto Rican salsa singer. And on one of my trips was this is nowhere in the around it, but I had did a cruise once, and it was a salsa cruise, and he was one of the guys singing on there. Victor Manuel, El Gran Combo, a lot of people were on there. No, it was an amazing trip. And but yeah, so long story. What would be the odds that I will end up in the same magazine as that guy?
Yeah,
You
two
know what I
Puerto
mean?
Ricans,
Two Puerto
Boricuas.
Ricans killing it, baby.
That's great. That's great.
But I never, unfortunately, because it happened during the pandemic and all that, I never got my hands on the hard copy itself. So they sent me the link, or they sent me the what was going to be posted and whatever through email, but I never got the hard copy itself. Pero whoever it did, they got it. I'm on it.
Speaking of magazines, this year you were featured in the most recent edition, the winter edition of the Momentum magazine, Winter Edition 2023 for the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. That's another big deal. I mean, when you make it to that magazine, you're in business.
Oh, come on now. We read it, baby.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I got my copy. And it looked pretty good. It looked pretty good. Nice picture. So, how was the whole experience? Where did you meet with them? Give us like a behind the scenes.
Well, like it was amazing because I was able to reach out we after the whole conversation, they got reached out because the editor of the magazine, he's one of the editors, he's from Chicago. So that was I didn't know this, so that was kind of like an easy connect because like, oh, we live in the same city. Then I got into the telling my story. And then once I got into the whole story, like I told you guys, I told them, they were shocked. They were shocked like everybody else that heard it. They're like, wow, it's amazing that you keep going. And that's one of the most overwhelming feelings I get. When people look at me and I tell them my story and they all like jump back, like, wow, like you're still going? And so yeah, so I was able to hook up with them and he came out with his photographer and videographer. And they reached out to me because I told them I do therapies in two locations. And so they told me which one of the tools you would like for us that looks, that wants to see that we do most of your therapies. Said, well, I went to Neurobalance Center because I go there twice a week. Athletic goes every other week. So I went there and they went out with their crew, with the camera guys, like I said, and they took footage of me working out. They
Wow,
took
look at
footage.
you,
No,
celebrity.
I was amazed. I was like, oh, watching now. So yeah, they took a video and they took pictures of me working out and doing that. Then I also had the privilege to do an interview. They interviewed me and the whole MS, explaining how the MS is, and more or less like I told you guys the story, like how do I deal with MS and whatnot. And what was good about that was that he told me that I was one of the first, if not the first, that was able to do the interview both in English and Spanish for the momentum, and that was a big woo. There you go. Thank you, bilingual. I just did it from the beginning was to show everybody that hey, if I can do it, so can you. And it's hard but it's amazing because look at, I mean, I got diagnosed and look at all the other little things that came up out of this.
Like I always say, MS has been the biggest setback of my life, but it's also that one thing that opened all doors for me because I feel the same way. So many things came after the diagnosis, and I have been in Momentum's magazine as well. It's a great experience. The crew is amazing, and I'm glad that they chose you to represent the Hispanic community because by doing the interview in English and Spanish because the MS Society is making a great effort to integrate the Hispanic MS members or MS community members. They are translating their pages, posting videos in Spanish on their website. They have the Ask the MS Expert series in English, but they also have it in Spanish, which I've had the honor to be part of as well. They just held in October the Hispanic Latinx MS Summit, the second one this year, which shows that they're really working on providing information, which they have a lot of information on their website and all the platforms that they use, but it's usually in English. And so they're working on, providing the same amount and type of information for the Hispanic community because unfortunately the numbers of Hispanic or Spanish speaking MSers are going up. They're being more. The rate of diagnosis is going up. Unfortunately, the need for information in Spanish it's big, and so I'm really happy that they chose you to be the voice for those that don't have it, right? Don't have the opportunity to be in the magazine.
And it's amazing because there's just so many people out there that are just like me when
Exactly.
we started with
That's
this.
exactly the point. Yes.
Yeah, we had no idea how or what, and but nobody knows. I mean, from later on, I find out that nobody knows how you get it or how you got it. It's take an amazing amount of pleasure and honor I took in doing that. Why? Because once again, if I can do it, so can you. And everybody's the same, and we just gotta, think positive and never, like I always say, a negative mindset can never declare victory. If you think negative, you get negative. You think positive all the time, you get to go to positive MS. Come on now. Let's go. I'm ready.
Yeah, what you think of comes upon you. If you think negative, that's exactly what's coming back. Like, even in your words, speak positive. It will come back the same way. Armando, you have a YouTube channel. We mentioned in the beginning, you have a YouTube channel which is very successful. I recommend it. People go to Armando's channel, and what I like about your channel is that you, regardless of the physical limitations, you put out there what I, as a patient, that's what I want to see. I don't want to see you, with your or in the case of a woman, your high heels and you're on a plane and all that. That's great. But the reality that we live with is very different, and you
Not
put it
everybody can
out
live that
there. Yeah, you put it out
life.
there. You show how you cook, you show how you put your socks on, you show your everyday life. And I think that is the most important thing you bring out, to reality, for people to see. And I know that your viewers appreciate that.
Thank you. Well, no, but like I always say, we got to keep it 100% natural and 100% organic. Like we say, keep it real. Keep it real, and that's the way I like to do things because there's no, I don't got special things or people to record me while I'm doing it or whatever. Everything I'm doing is off of my phone. For instance, the other day I recorded when I fell. I had a fall transferring from my scooter to another scooter, and I fell, and you know what I mean. Then what was funny is that I'm on the floor. I grabbed the phone, called for help, and then once I knew the help was coming, why panic? Why get worried? So while I'm on the floor, I was like, well, you know what? This is a great time to photo shoot this really fast, record the
Whoa.
video. And it's that's crazy because I'm on the floor, literally, I'm on the floor, but I'm doing it to show everybody that look at things happen. Things happen, but it's depending on you and how you take on it is what brings out the outcome.
So what do you do? Did you go live? Hey, people, from a different angle.
No,
I'm here.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I could reach over because what's funny, I'm on the floor. I was on the floor, so I was able to reach my phone because I had it in my basket in my scooter. So I'm on the floor. I was able to reach, grabbed it, put it up, set it up, and while I'm on the floor, I'm like, "Yo, mi gente, this is your boy to the T. Look at me, I'm laying down." I mean, that's part of I'm over here just recording while I'm on the floor, and it's just to show me Hendon once again, like you mentioned earlier, just to show him that I'm not here to edit. I'm not here to picture
Yeah, keep
point,
it real.
put a
That's
perfect picture out there. Because, like you said, not everybody got all that glamorous, that perfect every day. No, we struggle every day. We go through ups and downs. And I show you guys. I show you the way. Like I said, we're limited to what we can do, but don't let that limitation stop you from becoming the person you are. And that's what I was able to learn. And man, and I love it because, like anybody else, I got this crazy invisible snowflake disease, but you get what you put in it. And I grabbed it and I ran with it. And I was able to, like I said, I got motivated to do that YouTube channel. Now I'm at 12.1 or
You
over
are.
12K
Yes.
subscribers.
Hmm.
And that's a ooh, thank you, Lord. I didn't even think I thought I would get a couple subscribers from like family and friends of mine, to be honest. I never thought I would go above and beyond. And what's a go figure is that my friends and family are the least that watch my videos. That's really bad.
Then
I was
watch
like,
a
wow,
video.
where's my support? You know? But that's the crazy part. And then I told them about a video, like, oh yeah, you got a YouTube channel?
Yeah.
I like,
That's right. You have a YouTube channel. I forgot. Thank you.
bye, bye.
Later.
So
No, but
that's
they're
what's
there for
crazy
you
about
every
it.
day, right? They're
No,
they're they're
all
your
the time.
support system.
I can never. They're
So
very my,
that's the
my
least of the
support system
worries,
is
right?
amazing. Is in they're always there. Family and friends, they never budge. And whenever I say, yo, I need help, boom, they're there. So thank you, Lord, for that.
And one of your biggest supports is your mom.
Oh, my
Your
mother, Mama
mom
Dukes.
is the real hero here. And I know that she went with you to Puerto Rico, your first trip after your burns. And she went with you there so you could have a fun time in the class reunion of your high school peeps, right? It looked like you had an awesome time. I saw the post,
Oh
your pictures.
man.
I saw them carrying you into the ocean.
Ooh, that was a well, man. Let me get it to well a little bit in a nutshell. And well, Puerto Rico, that was my in August. They invited me, and it was my 20-year high school reunion because I graduated high school in Puerto Rico and graduated obviously 2003. So when they mentioned that, I know that a lot of people from our class, well, a lot of them had went and they went out, they came out here to the States and whatnot, got married. So for that one, a lot of people were going. And then me, I got super overwhelmed. I'm like, what? 20 years? Let's go. But I'm in my situation. So I was like, I gotta find out first who's gonna see who's gonna go with me. So, anyways, my mom, my backbone, as my road dog. I told her, she was like right away, she went with me because that's mom. As long as she knows that I'm secure, that I'm fine, there's golden with her. Let's go.
Every
Yeah,
mom.
every mom is
Yeah.
like that. So she was like that, and to the point that I got to go to make sure. And it was funny because when I went to Puerto Rico, I had to go. Mi gente, it's like I say, us with MS, like we always go through. You gotta know your location. Wherever you at, you got a spot. You gotta be like, okay. I can go there, stairs. No, I can do this. You know what I
The
mean? And
bathroom, all that.
yeah, bathroom. That's the first thing. Then me, since I can't walk, I use a commode. So I was like, man, that was the first thing. I was like, yo, mommy, make sure Titi Manny got a commode. Titi Manny, my aunt. I like make sure we get a commode there because you never know. But see, this is how crazy life is, me and then this is before I get into the detail about Puerto Rico. I was there for 5 days. And not one day did I use a commode. And not one day, and it was like something that it wasn't that I was in pain. It was just there's some days that I go,
Your
some days that
mind
I don't.
was in your whole
And my
body.
mind wasn't even focused. Yeah, my
Yeah.
mind wasn't, and that's one thing I gotta say, mi gente. The whole time I was there, I did not think about MS not 1 second. Yeah, I know my limitations. I know I can't walk. I know I need a wheelchair. I know I need to help. I need to do. I know I need a urinal to urinate. That's fine. I know that already. Why think about something that I already know? And that helps you just proceed on with life. That 20-year high school reunion, that Friday night, mi gente, it was like we're all I'm 39 now, so we're all around the same age, 38, 39. That day was like everybody was 16, 17 years old. Everybody just went back to the clowning, making fun of each other like we used to do. It was like nobody had responsibilities that
You
day.
were kids again.
Where it was a Friday back at school. And then so we were there for the weekend, obviously. And then on Saturday, we went to a friend's house where, compartimos, we shared time over there. Sunday, we went to the beach. And then my mother, she told one of my closest friends that was over there as well. She was like, make sure they give him some salt water on his legs because then, salt water, that's that healing water. It's the ocean water. That's from water from the Lord. So I told him, I was like, see if we get a bucket or something and put my feet in there. I wanted to get my feet wet in there. So I told my guys, and my guys went up and they're like, don't worry about it, Mando. You can't walk, but we can. Well, they told me in Spanish. They done like, nosotros sabemos que tú no puedes caminar. Nosotros caminamos por
We
ti.
are your
And
legs.
they carry. We are your
We are
legs.
your
So they
legs.
piggyback and they put me on their backs, literally, on one of my guys' back, and they helped me out with my legs and they carry me into the ocean. And right there, they grabbed a chair. I sat it down right there in the front shore where I was able to sit down. And I'm sitting in ocean water, mi gente, with all these people around me because remember, they got waves. So a nice little wave from there. Armando puede terminar y ya tú sabes dónde. You
Well,
know?
by looking at the
So,
pictures, it looked like everything went well. I mean, your friends
no, it was,
were like all they were surrounding you. They were
they're
protecting you.
surrounded. They made
They
sure,
carry
they made
you
sure.
in yeah. And their
And like I told
smiles
them,
were like this big.
oh man,
I'm glad
like
you
I
had
tell you, if I end up leaving in the wave, I'm bringing y'all with me, mi gente. So y'all gotta go. But no, that was amazing. That was amazing. And like I always say, you got to know your circle. You got to know the ones you can depend on and have trust with. By a quote that says, "You only know your real friends when you're, unfortunately, when you're in jail or when you're in the hospital."
definitely true. Yeah. I
And and
absolutely.
and that's and that's when you find out who is who. And me and I had a blast. So that right there, how can I complain about life? These are things that are happening, and like I always say, as long as we keep waking up, mi gente, every morning, we're winning the battle.
But as far as I know, MS tried to get in the way when you were planning that trip. Is that right? You had like a
Oh,
little
oh, that's
incident the night before, right before you were getting
I'm
ready
telling you,
to
mi gente.
catch a plane. You had a seizure.
Bienvenidos to Mambo's world. This is crazy. And yes, that I left on Thursday because the reunion was on Friday. Tuesday night, going on to Wednesday morning, around 3, 2 to 3 in the morning on Wednesday morning. I had a seizure. Yeah, how I know this? Well, obviously, and thank you, Lord, because that's what I'm saying. The Lord knows what He does. My mother was sleeping. She lives in with me, but she stays in the living room in a sofa bed, and I sleep in my one bedroom apartment. So I sleep in my bed, and she heard the grunts I was making. So that right there alerted her, and she got up and checked. I mean, unfortunately, was I was having a seizure. So right there, they took me. She called the ambulance. They took me to the hospital. Remember, I'm all this. I got no recognition. All I know is waking up that day, that Wednesday morning, like at 7 in the morning. I woke up and I looked around. I see my mother. I was like, "What the hell we are?" And mommy goes, and she told me in Spanish. She goes, "Mijo, you had another seizure." I was like, "What?" I'm like, "How long?" Because remember, the last seizure I had was the only that 45-minute one. So I was like, "How long was this one?" I'm like, "What?" She said, "No, it wasn't that long. It was like about 2 minutes or something, but still." And that's still a 2 minute seizure is pretty long,
It's still a
for
seizure.
people out there. Yeah, it's still a seizure.
Especially when you're gonna get
But
on you have a plane to catch. You
yeah, you got things to
get
do.
things to do.
But this is Mando's life. I mean, gente, I'm telling you, this is amazing. I go in and I'm in there, and I woke up in the hospital bed, and I was like, man, the nurse came to check me out. The only thing I came out and I told the nurse, I was like, hey, did everything came out fine? Oh yeah, yeah, everything came out fine or what normal, should I say? I was like, yeah, because unfortunately, I gotta leave. I got a haircut appointment at 1:30 p.m. and I gotta go get a
Wrap it
haircut
up,
because
lady. I gotta go.
I'm leaving Puerto Rico in a couple, next tomorrow. So I gotta go. I gotta cut this short because I gotta get a haircut. And she started laughing and she was like,
Of
yeah, you ready
course.
to go? I looked at my mom. I was like, Mommy, you ready? No, have me up, get dressed because we gotta go.
Mom, you got the
And
bags? Let's go.
and that's the whole thing with that's my mindset. That's my mentality
Incredible.
with that.
It's
It's crazy that I go through something like that. I didn't panic. All I thought was about my hair.
yeah.
I like, yo, I can't go to Puerto Rico, Peru. I ain't going down like that. No, never that. So,
That's why.
so it's amazing, and it happens. But these are the thrills. That's why I get excited. I get excited about life because you don't know what's coming tomorrow.
Well, only somebody like you can just laugh it out and just keep going. Hey, I gotta go. Gotta
Yeah,
get a haircut. Go grab my
you got
bags.
like I explained in my book or in the magazine. When I get mad, I'm human. I let that heated moment that I get mad last about a good 5 to 10 minutes. 5 to 10 minutes, you lash out, you get angry, you curse, whatever you do to anger you when you're angry. But let it last only 5 to 10 minutes. After that, soak it in and then move on. Why? Because ain't nothing gonna change what happened. It happened already, so okay. Yeah, you want to get mad, punch the wall, do whatever you want to do. Don't injure yourself. But if you do,
Don't
yeah, cool.
follow that advice though.
Yeah, no,
Do
me,
not
I'm
do
sorry,
not
but
punch the wall.
I'm showing you the tips that I do. Yeah,
He's
because my
Puerto
mother's
Rican,
like,
so he's a little bit more
yes, no,
physical.
my mother's funny because my mother's hilarious. Because I do that. I'm not gonna deny. I'll hit a wall or door just out of anger, and mommy's like, "Bonito, lindo, que te
Oh, she says that. I love your mom. She's
ve."
great.
So she's like that. So that gets me even more angry. But that's my mom. Yes, you go, dale. Lindo que te ve ahora.
Well,
No.
when MS is very frustrating, right? Uh, there's a lot of frustration that we have to work through every day, I would say, because every day something comes up. I don't know, a limb is not working, your hand is just like my hand doesn't open, it's like
Yeah, the
curled.
fingers are
They have
stuck. You can't
they
do
get
nothing.
stuck or whatever, and those are real situations we deal with every day, and every day is different. And you plan for something, you put yourself set yourself for the best day, and then it all goes downhill and change, and you don't get to what you had planned originally. That's usually how we roll. So it's important, like you said, to own your feelings. I mean, you're angry, you're angry. You gotta work through them, you gotta process them. You cannot bottle up things. That's not a good strategy. So this is just a tip here, an advice.
Yeah, because if you bottle things up at the end, that becomes a stress. Why? Because you're constantly thinking about that. And then that's why I try to stay stress free the most I can, which is crazy impossible sometimes because we're human.
Life is
We
stressful,
live and we
right?
live in this
That
life that's
mhm.
a regular human being that got nothing is stressed over something. But it's just the way that we approach it and how we live and how we move forward is what counts. Go through the emotions. Yeah, cry, get mad, get happy, laugh, smile. Go through all the physical emotions because we're humans. That's what we do. But at the end of the day, have faith and trust, and you'll get by.
I think MSers have superpowers because I think so. What is your superpower? Power? Well, I have MS. What's
Yeah.
yours? Isn't that a shirt going around? Something like
Yes,
that.
we gotta. That's our cape.
Yeah, exactly. We have superpowers because life is stressful. We know life sucks sometimes. Everybody has their situations. But then when you have this thing that lives in you, and there's unfortunately, it makes the calls. I mean, people say, "No, MS doesn't got me." Totally got me. It makes the calls. If I'm
It
s-
does everything
if
that
I'm
I'm not
spat,
supposed to
yeah. If my
do.
muscles are stiff, they're stiff. There's nothing I can do. And that changes the whole dynamic of the whole entire day for me and for anybody that is around me.
Yeah, for the tip for everybody out here, that's what I say. We just like Mike just said it. But I always put that phrase in me as well. I got MS, but MS don't got me. So that's what keeps me motivated to keep going. Why? Because I'm like the most self-spoken, motivated person you can ever meet in your life. And my mom, even like once again, mommy always telling me because I'm consistently something goes wrong. Come on, Mando, let's do this. You do this every day. Let's do what we gotta do. You know what I mean? This is the arguments I have with myself. And que yo siempre he dicho que solo habla, solo se entiende. Yeah, me. So if you speak to yourself, not that you're going bananas, but like Mike said, we understand our limits and our our abilities to do things, and to reach the level that we can reach. Something that's impossible with the mi gente, we know that it's impossible to do. Don't stress yourself out trying to do it because it's not gonna go well.
And you're stuck with yourself. You better get along with yourself.
Yeah, you better
Be your better
exactly. You better.
version. You
I hope you like yourself
Yeah,
because
you're stuck with yourself. So you're angry, frustrated, and all that throughout the day. No, that's not a good strategy. Just just try to work through it. And whatever doesn't work, leave it alone. That's something I have learned with multiple sclerosis. I just walk away and revisit tomorrow. So I learned that, and it's a good strategy because I used to get caught up, with my Puerto Rican blood. I try not to do, and that's not good for your immune system. You gotta keep the immune system calm so your MS is content. Just a good advice for people out there. Mando, I can't close this episode without talking about your book. This is a great achievement of yours. You published your book this year in September. It's a very intense, to me, story because there's so much that you went through. Besides, I mean, you already touched some of the events that happened throughout your life here, but there's so much more to it. I recommend people go to Amazon and buy his book,
Oh, hold on, hold
Resilience.
on.
And
Let me
it,
show the camera. Let me
oh,
show the
oh,
people. Let me
oh,
see if you can
there's the
see it.
book.
'Cause I don't want to do it with the light because I have the lighting. But yeah, that's the
There's the
book,
book.
and this is the back cover. That's your boy.
How long did it take you to write this book, Armando?
I started writing things down from like let's say 2016, and then more or less when I opened up my YouTube channel, I started briefly writing things down. Why? Because once again, once I got tagged with that mess, I thought, oh, another chapter in Manuel's life. Let's go. And that's exactly how I took it. Another chapter, another chapter. Oh, hold on. Another chapter. And I started
This
writing
book is
things
gonna be
down.
longer than I anticipated.
Yeah, like, hold on. I got more than one chapter. And that's exactly what it was. I was like, I got more than one adversity that I have overcome. So I was like, let me write down, a little bit more. And mi gente, that's what's crazy that it just kept on going. And I'm going through all these difficulties that I'm going through. But my mind, I got material for my book. Everything that I went through, everything whatever process I had to go through, I took it as I got materials for my book. Let's go. Let's do what we got to do. Thank you, Lord. Let's do it. And poquito a poco, little by little, I went. And then when I was lucky that I went through I will hope to say last adversity of the burns, I was like, well, we got to put this in paper. And I did, and I was able to reach out to Blank Page Publishing, that they're based off of Miami, And the good thing about it is that in their books, the publisher, they include the QR code. So when I heard about that, that was like a double whammy for me because I was like, man, I get to promote my book and I get to promote my YouTube channel on the book for whoever buys the book. You know what I mean? So they were doing that poquito a poco, little by little, man, until I kept on developing and I got it done. And now the YouTube channels is on there. And then I was able to reach out to them. They published it. Everything came out cool. And the thrilling part about that as well is that I have the audio version of that book, but I do the narrating of my
I was
story.
gonna say, yeah, you are the narrator of your own.
I do the because like I
That's
always
great.
say, I was like, nobody can tell you a story like you can.
Right. And you have a
And
good
this is my
voice, so you
story.
should work in radio.
And that's what they always say. So that's when I
You got a
put,
deep
I deepen my
voice.
voice a little bit. So,
I
yeah,
know, I know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I listened to the audiobook and it sounds great. So
Nice.
that came out really
And
good.
then the audio, I get emotional like anybody else because when I talk about specific topics, but that's how life is. That's one thing that me and that I want you guys to learn from me is that I don't hide nothing. I come as bold as it is, and you know what? This is how life is. Because that be if I do anything else different from who I am, I'll be a hypocrite, and that's something that I'm not. We're here and we keep it going, and then that's what amazes me is I give thanks to the Lord every single day, every morning I wake up, man, because that's a blessing, and you don't know what could come out of this stuff.
Can we mention the exact name of your YouTube channel so people can subscribe to your channel and
My channel on you can find it as Mondo Trinidad, like my book Mondo Trinidad. You can find me. You could on YouTube, and right away my page will come out. Most of my videos I tag it with living with MS or walking with MS, but that's all in the same concept. Those videos, like Maite was explaining earlier, I show you people how to shave, how I shave, not people. This is the way I shave. This is the way I cook. This is the way I put on my shoes and my socks and the way. This is the way I take a bath. But I keep it, PG-13, man. Don't get crazy. I don't go crazy like that.
you'll be surprised how many people have those particular questions in like in the group setting that I usually work in. I see those posts, people asking little things like that. How do you put your socks on? Because now my hands, I can't move my fingers as I used to, whatever. And there goes people, and start suggesting. So it's very important because you don't have somebody to relate to like in your family circle. You don't know I mean they don't know what you're going through is different the way that we do those things that seem so simple.
And like we say, most of the times you look for MS of what I thought about, and that's why I did my videos the way I do it. Because most of the times you look for MS, and you get the picture perfect MS, the people in the clinical office, and the people around with doctors, and then unfortunately you get some depressive videos where the people are just like, I hate my life, or
Yeah,
this is
the
you
pity
know,
party.
yeah, the pity parties and then see them. I'm completely opposite from all that. And I'm one that's like, what? I got a mess. Let's go. It's just a whole reprogramming of your brain, man.
Super happy that you had the chance to join us today, tell your story. Truly, as a friend, because he's my good friend, I really admire you because you're so strong. Aside from, well, you hurt people, everything that he has gone through so far, that is, not everybody goes through all those things like back to back, and he still, you know, stay strong. He gives his best smile every day and keeps going. So I admire you for that, and I'm glad that you are part of my friend circle. And nothing else. Just thank you so much for being here. Appreciate your time. I know that we had our challenges today to get this done.
Thank you for the invite. This was an honor. Like I said, man, hopefully this won't be my last. We'll have some more coming. And yeah, thank you all for listening, and I appreciate all the time that you guys took out. And like Mike said, whenever you guys want, you can reach me at my YouTube channel, on Instagram. I'm Trinidad Mondo. And like I said, I just keep posting stuff as we go because this is an forever going disease, like they say. But so is life. So we can do whatever we can. So mi gente, thank you guys for sharing this time with us and listening. And Maite, God bless you and everything you do. And you already know that this is where we're moving up, baby. This is what we do.
This is the beginning of more episodes to come with
Oh
Mando
yeah,
Trinidad. So
you
stay
already know. I'm
tuned.
around me and they ain't going nowhere.
Well, thank you, Armando.
No,
I'll
anytime.
see you next time.